All right, removing the engine from a 68 Cougar. There's a couple bits. It's gonna be a long video. Bear with me, but we're gonna go step by step. First thing you're gonna have to remove is underneath the transmission. Excuse me. You're gonna get underneath the car, and this is called your dust plate. All right, this is your dust plate, and it's gonna be sitting down there like that. You're gonna have to remove this. You're gonna have to remove that to basically just get in there. Okay, so you're going to remove that, and what it's going to do, it's going to expose your torque converter. All right, that's called the torque converter. It's got those 4 nuts on there. So you may or may not see a nut when you take that off. But what you're going to do is you're going to pretend the engine's in the car. And this flywheel right here, you're going to rotate it. It takes a little oomph, but you're going to turn it. And because it's still attached that by those bolts all the way through in the shaft, and you're going to turn that, and you're going to take all 4 of those bolts off. Okay, so that way, right then and there, your transmission is now disconnected from the engine. That's the first thing you should do. Mind you, there's also a little when you take the dust plate off, there's still one more, and it's over here. You're gonna have to take that one off too. I forget what it goes to. I think it goes to the cover shield. This is all on the back end. Don't worry about that. This all comes off when you take the engine out. This plate is still held on there by one screw, and you'll see it. You're gonna have to take that off as well. Okay. Next thing you should take off is a connection to your manifolds. And these ones have a different thread. It's really weird, so I left the nut on there. But you're gonna take these off right here in the end to disconnect it from your exhaust, essentially. So those got to come off. All right. What else you got to do? Well, there's also your bell housing, as you can see here. All of these have their screws here. These are ones that they would be. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's going to be 6 bolts holding the bell housing to the engine. So you take that off. Now, I know I said previously you're disconnected from the transmission. You're not. Just the shaft is. Now, once you disconnect that, your transmission is completely disconnected from the bell housing. Okay, so you're going to take those off. All right, what else we got? Well, you got motor mounts. These are your motor mounts. Right here, right here. Some people take them straight off the frame. You can do that, but it's way easier to just go underneath the car and take the bolts that go into this straight out. Take out your motor mounts, and it should be free. You want to make sure you have a ground wire, a couple ground wires attached. Let me see if I can find it. That's alternator, engine ground. Here we go. One of these running to your battery terminal, all right, is hooked up to the engine ground. You're going to want to take that one off. You're going to take that ground off. Let me see, where is this? Oh, this is a battery terminal. This is the hot. This is also hooked up to a ground. You're going to want to disconnect that. Let me see, I'm looking as I'm looking in here. Oh yeah, we had to take all of these lines off. Anything left attached that you don't think you're going to be able to figure out, just take it off. These are pretty obvious. Goes to the air conditioning and stuff. For me, it was obvious. Okay, so you're going to look around and you're going to disconnect any hoses. Like we had to take off right here, this one it says heater hose, standard heater hose, but it went into our water pump. All right, so that one goes into your water pump. Then we had to take this one off. This one runs into the sides. I see me wiggling it. Right there, it goes right there into that little, I don't know, discombobulator. All right. This went to the intake manifold, so I'll know which hose goes where until I figure out the names for them. So, as you can see, also there's the exhaust we took out. Remember I told you you got to take those bolts out, take that exhaust out. You're going to disconnect that exhaust. Oh yeah, there was on the top, there was I think it's on there right now. There was a part that went right here. When we pulled it out because it was attached to the engine, it made a pop sound. Pops! So there's a vacuum in here. So you're going to have to take that off. So all in all though, to recap, you're going to take off the dust plate. It has 2 on the bottom. you're going to take off the extra one, which has that extra plate for whatever reason. It's the plate there. Then you're going to take all the screws around your bell housing of your transmission. You take that out. You're going to take your motor mounts out, and then you're going to take off your exhaust from your manifolds. You're going to take those off. One right there. One's over there. And any hoses, just any hoses you can think of. Like I said, there's a ground, and it's important you know where your ground is, so make sure you label it, because your car's not going to start without it. And once you did that, we had this rusty old amazing cherry picker we got on. We disconnected the transmission before pulling it out. That's what we chose to do. I chose to do because it was just a little easier to pull it out, especially for a novice like me. And then I could pull out the transmission later, which we'll cover. But what we did, we got one of these engine levelers, and we hooked those up, these 4 chains. I'll bring it over. Watch out, Bubba. What we did, once we put that on there, where did we hook up these chains to? Well, we hooked them up, we took off the intake manifold, which this I don't think I need to cover. They're really simple bolts, okay? They're real simple, they just go on. We undid one. Now these have to be torqued down to a certain torque. I don't know what it is yet, but before we build it, I'm sure we'll find that out. And we just threw it in there like that, took that bolt out, put that bolt in, and put it around, and hooked this part up to the cherry picker, and we rotated it as we needed to rotate the engine out and pull it out. And it came out beautifully. So this engine leveler is awesome. It's actually a real good use when we go to put the engine with the transmission back in together, because we want that extra level, that extra steepness to clear the tunnel. So this is the engine. This is the current state. There's my son again. He's trying to hide from the camera the whole time. It's raining out here. Got him to work. He's cleaning the starter and he's cleaning some parts off, make them, just pretty again with the serial numbers. So this is the state we're looking at. And we're going to take this engine step by step through its rebuild process. And hopefully I'll learn something and you'll learn something. And then we're going to work on upgrading the rest of this Cougar back to stock beauty. All right, and that is our engine removal. Please comment, tell me if I did something wrong or I'm forgetting something. Big shout out to my friend Nick Redder. He came over here and really helped me out with this, because he's a pro at this stuff and I'm not. And I probably could have done it myself, but it would have been painful. So thanks, Nick Redder, for everything, and your wife for allowing you to come. All right, bye.